What is up, guys? Welcome to episode 4 of the Web3 podcast. This is Taiki with my co-host Spencer, and we're first going to talk about markets and then talk about the coins Spencer owns because his portfolio is doing much better than mine recently, and then we'll end the topic with NFTs. So, what are your thoughts on the markets?
I like the price action as of late. I think that that one bullish candle I saw basically swallowed up three bearish candles. So
Oh,
that's
like the
some nice
engulfing
price.
candle?
Engulfing candle, exactly. My TA is not the sharpest, but yeah, I'm super bullish. We saw a lot of options expiring. If you want to touch on that, I think that'd be important to talk about.
Yeah, I can briefly gloss over it, and I think you can provide the color because I think you know more about this stuff. But essentially, last Friday, $6 billion worth of options expired, which was like by far the all-time high, and people expected major volatility leading up to it. And like, as expected, like I think Thursday we saw Bitcoin and Ethereum like dump a little bit, and after I guess like starting Saturday, like the price recovered to where it was like around Wednesday, Thursday. But Spencer, do you want to tell us about like how like what was the significance of this?
Yeah, the significance would be, I think it's twofold. The first thing being there's an act of price pinning, it's called. And so what a lot of really smart derivative traders will do is they'll essentially pin the price of an underlying asset by using options, by using derivatives. And so it has to do with the way option pricing works, and it's has to do a lot with gamma, but I won't go into that and into the details as much. But basically, you saw kind of a range where people were arguing that between 52,000 to 50, I think it was 58,000, that Bitcoin is kind of consolidating there and pinned in that range until options expiration. So a lot of people were anticipating a lot of volatility leading up to the options expiration as people kind of start to unwind positions, etc. But what actually was kind of happening, it seems like the price was being pinned, and with options expiring, now we saw kind of this bullish push higher, and the same thing happened last time. I think it was in February that there was a huge expiration date with a lot of options expiring. So
Yeah,
there was actually less volatility in the market leading up to the expiration of all these options. And I think the volatility for future option prices was very low, about 80%, which is a low figure for futures contracts, or excuse me, options expiring in a 1 month maturity. So April contracts were really low. And yeah, it's a little technical, but that's kind of, some people are explaining, the price action via the options expiration, but I think it kind of makes sense. And now that larger ledger players are in the space, and the derivative traders are huge market movers and hedging their positions. That's what it seemed like happened, and that's what I think did happen. But yeah, do
yeah.
you have anything to add?
It kind of shows you how the market is maturing, right? I mean, 12 months ago, $6 billion of like options expiring, like we would never have thought that would happen. And I'm gonna quote like someone I respect, like his name is Suzu from Three Arrows Capital, but he said like options is used by like the big players to kind of like earn a yield on their crypto assets. So a lot of people sell calls, sell puts if they hold like Bitcoin and like they want to hedge to the upside or downside. And I think that's kind of I think the market is maturing, and it's pretty good to see because with bigger players, there's gonna be like dampened volatility
Right.
to the upside and downside. And at this point, I guess like with my Bitcoin stack, I just want to see like a slow grind upwards instead of like some blow off top. I'd rather see like a long drawn out bull market than something that just ends this year. That's me
Yeah.
personally.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's a positive sign for the markets long term. Obviously, I want Bitcoin to go up, but this I feel like this is a more sustainable push
Right.
upwards.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Actually, when price hit that 51 50,000 level,
Yeah.
briefly broke 52. I was going to bed and I was like, what are you doing? If you think that this options pinning is really happening right now, and this is the lower bound, why aren't you buying futures contracts right now? So, or leverage, using leverage. So I went in at 11 o'clock at night and bought some Bitcoin on leverage, and it played out, well. Still holding it, but I still think it's going to go higher. And it's interesting because we're used to drawdowns of 30%. So
Yeah.
some of these players enter the space, and some people we personally know start to get shaky hands on a 10% drawdown, and I'm like, this is nothing. I'm buying more. Yeah,
This is a typical week in Bitcoin
yeah,
land.
exactly. It's hard to hold sometimes, and but what I thought was really interesting was if you look at out of the money call options in Bitcoin going forward for the next month, or next number of months, it's really bullish. A lot of people are making a lot of bets of Bitcoin around 65,000
For
I think
April?
that was it. I don't think it was April. I think it might have been August, May or
Okay.
May or August.
That's pretty
May, June, July.
far out.
Yeah, it was like July to August, I think. There was some very bullish buying at 65,000, and so I think everyone's optimistic about the space and about price action moving forward.
How can you not, right?
Yeah.
Because Biden just said he's looking to do another bill in
Yeah.
April on top of the $3 trillion infrastructure bill.
Yeah, we signed one,
How
and then
much
they were talking
money?
about the second one. Yeah.
Yeah, how much money are they gonna spend? I mean, I guess we'll take it because indirectly, Bitcoin should go up, which rising tide lifts all boats.
Mhm.
Good for the entire space, but we talk about currency devaluation, we're just seeing it happen right in front of our eyes.
Yeah.
And if you think about it, the market was right, Bitcoin, this pump seemed insane earlier this year, but maybe the market priced in that Biden's going to print this much money, and
yeah, right. Markets forward looking, they say roughly 6
very.
months. And did you see New Zealand put 5% of their pension fund into Bitcoin?
Really?
Yeah, you should look at that up. But I'm pretty sure the pension fund put 5% of their position, of their allocation into Bitcoin. The other thing that I wanted to add was I talked to some really smart guys. I got lunch with some really smart guys 2 days ago, and they are currently kind of stunned by the market and what's going on with equities and the general market. And they're really smart guys. And one of their fund founders in particular has traded through the last 30 to 40 years of the market. Sorry, of the markets in general, and seeing obviously a lot of different scenarios. And he said this is the first time he's ever been so perplexed, and he's like, I don't know if the market's broken. All these factor rotations are happening, and so they're very perplexed. And so I think smart people are perplexed. A lot of people don't really know what's going on, and I think the old saying Wall Street climbs a wall of worry, and I think it's kind of playing into crypto. People are worried about crypto. People don't know where it's going to go, but it climbs a wall of worry in a sense.
Yeah. And I was listening to this podcast about, I think, I don't know if you heard of Block Tower Capital, but he's one of the bigger traders in that crypto fund. And he was asked what would a Bitcoin top look like?
Mm-hmm.
And he said I guess in all of 2021, there's this crazy rally and then it dumps. And there's this endless bid of institutions coming in. Michael Saylor put it in last year. Tesla put it in around 30K this year, and there's just this endless bid. So he was saying that a Bitcoin top will most likely come when that bid just doesn't come from anywhere. So he was essentially arguing that the weak hands get shaken out, but the strong money comes in. But once that endless bid doesn't come, then that's a time to be to worry. I feel Bitcoin is gonna just meme itself to 100K. So I feel like my hands will be like eternally strong until we even like approach near that price. Uh, but I think it is smart to like start thinking about exit strategies if you're gonna exit at all. I mean, obviously I'm gonna exit some, but I used to think I'm gonna sell like most of my Bitcoin and like I don't know, be happy with the cash and like buy something. But the more and more I'm in this space, I'm just like, I think I gotta hold. I think I gotta hold like a big stack, even if I do take profits.
Yeah, it's called trading around a position. A lot of really smart guys trade around their positions. They don't entirely eliminate them.
Mm-hmm.
And so maybe a way of trading around this position would be once that bid stops coming in, maybe starting to establish a short position. That way you can kind of
Yeah, just a hedge.
hedge your profits. And I'm the same way because I think we're still really early, and I think about it too all the time. I think it's smart to think about if you're really, a good investor, you're constantly thinking about your portfolio, how you can make it better.
Yeah, that's
And
something I need to get
so,
better at. I don't hedge to the upside or to the downside usually. I'm just
yeah,
like holding.
yeah, I think, like you said, I don't, I don't think I'm going to sell my Bitcoin. I think I'll hedge and probably buy more on the dip. I'll take, I'll hedge and I'll take the short position, close it out,
Yeah,
and then buy more Bitcoin using that.
yeah,
But it's amazing because at the same time, I thought the same thing too. When I first got into the space, I was like, yeah, I'll go up to 100K and I'll sell half of it. And then, you
yeah,
know,
yeah.
yeah. So yeah, you're right. I don't know what, I think we touched on it last week, but I think if you see major corporations continue to pile in that constant bid is prevalent for
Mm-hmm.
some time, I think that's when that's when it's going to get wild, right? We
Yeah,
talked about like what happens when Bitcoin hits 150K. How many people are going to FOMO in around the
yeah,
top?
yeah,
If there is a top coming, don't you think that there's a blow off the top? So like we might reach 100K, 150K, but at those levels, is everyone just going to stop buying and sit on their hands? I think then when the bid stops, I see what you're saying, but I feel like some really wealthy people are going to be like, oh my gosh, there's a fundamental issue here with our current dollar denominated world, and I need to get a piece of Bitcoin because it might go to 1 million, and
yeah.
suddenly the price targets change.
Yeah, because we can't just think about like, oh, 100K is the top because, like 20x the like 30x like the last cycle low or like 5x
Yeah.
last cycle top. Like that, you can't just do that math because for Bitcoin, if Bitcoin hits 100K, like think about how much new money is coming into the space, and it's mostly coming from corporations, institutions. Like think about what if Apple puts like a few billion into Bitcoin, right? I think they have like a few hundred billion in cash. I forget, but like they have a massive cash pile. I don't know what they're doing with it. I don't know what their strategy is, but yeah, I think it's always good to like think about like,
Your
wow,
exit
like
strategy.
what kind of world are we living in if Bitcoin does hit 100K, and
Right.
then thinking backwards from there. Just to hop onto the next topic.
Hmm.
Last week we had this very anticipated release of Uniswap version 3, and the like Ethereum and the entire DeFi space was bid up like during like earlier in the week. I think they announced it on Tuesday, but yeah, I actually sold on my uni beforehand because I just felt like the valuation for uni was too expensive. And when V3 got released, or got like they released like the article, like uni pumped 10% to like $36, 37, and then immediately they just like dumped on the news. It was like a classic sell the news event
Hmm.
because like I think we were expecting like layer 2 to come like next month, like
Yeah.
actually like V3 be like immediately released in like layer 2, but they said, yeah, V3 is gonna launch May and layer 2 will come with it, which is still good news, right? Like I mean we get to trade on layer 2 in like 6 weeks, which I think is like really amazingly bullish in this space. But I think the market was very disappointed, and I wasn't really impressed with like their news. I mean, concentrated liquidity. I feel like I was expecting much more. But like, what are your
Yeah.
thoughts on like
They're
the
playing
sell
catch
the
up.
news?
Yeah. Did you watch the highlight video, like or sorry, not the highlight video, but their advertisement for it? I thought it was so funny.
Oh, like the
Like the
unicorn?
unicorn walking
Yeah,
through,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
like that
Dude,
hype video.
that NFT, the video, guess how much it sold for?
10 million.
No, it was 600,000.
Okay.
But still,
That's
that's
what there
crazy.
you go. That's what I think about NFTs. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I thought I didn't pay attention to it. I didn't think it was like you said, sell the news. I think you traded it right. I was not like oohed and awed at all.
Mhm.
But yeah, I mean, it's cool. It's great. It's great for the space. ETH being bid up. I actually thought more interesting what we talked about was ETH fees kind of coming down over the past couple of days. But
Yeah. Not
Uniswap
sure
version
why,
3,
but
yeah, Uniswap version 3, not really, didn't really signal anything to me.
yeah. I feel like everyone thinks Uniswap is gonna be like the market leader, like in perpetuity, but I feel like nothing's guaranteed. Like I'm
Yeah,
bullish Bancor, and I feel like Bancor can easily overtake Uniswap with time. So I think when it comes to like decentralized finance, like exchanges are going to do really well, right? Because like the majority of use cases like just buying things. So I think it's good to have like a diversified portfolio of like Uniswap, SushiSwap, Bancor, like all those dexes, and like 1inch, like those
mhm.
aggregators. I feel like that's like if you don't know what to buy, I feel like that's like a pretty safe bet. Like just
Yeah,
buying
I like the
dexes.
aggregators.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the DEX market's a little saturated with all those players in the space. And like you
Hmm.
said, as quickly as Uniswap rose to number one, I think it could easily lose its place there. And the DEX space is kind of saturated. And so when I think about investing in the space and where to invest next, that's why I like Hydra and Bancor, and I think that you look for um, innovation in blockchain that's going to change the current economy that we have. And then the second thing you do is you look for innovation in existing projects
Hmm.
or innovation in the existing space. And so you're
Yeah.
improving the space, and you're also improving outside of the space and creating new protocols, new programs. And so for me, I see a problem of this extremely saturated DEX market and liquidity kind of being the main driver of that, an issue, um, impermanent laws, all that stuff. And then I see Hydra as being a solution, Bangor being a solution. And so that's why I'm more bullish those projects than anything else. I do
No,
like
that
one
makes
inch a
sense.
lot. Aggregators are cool, but I think in terms of like upside, um, greatest upside, I think that the solutions to the current DEX saturation is going to bode well.
Yeah. I like 1inch too, but I mean my only gripe with the project is like their tokenomics. I feel like the majority of the tokens like went to investors, and I think like throughout this year there's gonna be like a massive like dump on tokens. Like I think a bunch of investors are gonna just dump on like the retail plebs, which is
Yep.
like the worst feeling. So uh,
Yeah.
I like Bancor, I like Hydra, I like Parsec because like their token economics are pretty good. It's
Let's
like
go. Parsec
yeah,
to the moon.
but yeah, but yeah. So like I mentioned in the intro, like I talked about like I kind of sold the top on Uniswap, which makes me sound smart, but I took those proceeds and bought another DeFi project that also happened to dump. So it's not like I'm like this crazy good trader. I was just like I just decided to rotate into something else, which like dumped
Yeah.
equally as hard. So it's and I feel like I'm very exposed to just like decentralized finance, which I think is good long term. But I feel like Spencer, you have a more diversified portfolio of like something that's like not purely DeFi, like AUDIUS, which I like to first ask you about. But essentially, like for the audience, like I don't have a traditional finance background, like but Spencer is more knowledgeable. He took those classes and like he like works with smarter hedge fund guy. So I have a few questions about his bags. I have a few coins that he owns that's been pumping really hard, and he told me about it like months ago. But I'm like, no, like this project looks like shit. But obviously, I've been wrong. So first, let me ask you about Audius.
Yeah. and I think you're not giving yourself enough credit there. You're a very, knowledgeable guy in finance. But um, I really like Audius. So a friend of mine turned me on to Audius. What I think you are concentrated in the DeFi, and that's fine. It's a long-term bet, and I think you're going to be right. But Audius is, like I said, when I look for blockchain innovation, I look for stuff in the existing economy that can be improved. And to me, the music industry is close to me personally. My sister is a sound producer or sound engineer, excuse me. And so I've become familiar with the market and how kind of dislocated and I think broken music industry is. And so Audius essentially just creates a streamlined product for artists to release artwork to the consumer directly and continue to collect royalties on it. So it's kind of where NFTs come into play. And I think a lot of people we'll talk about NFTs later. I'm going to save this. But anyway, it's a streamlined process where users can go on, listen to the app, but artists have control over how much they collect per stream, etc. And it just puts a lot of the previously kind of gray area in music where artists are putting out all this, time and effort into releasing their art, and there's a guy in the middle collecting a fee and ultimately kind of driving the economics.
The artists make no money from like
right.
Spotify plays. Like it's all the record labels, which obviously is like fucked up. It's like the middleman at work. So
exactly.
It's like the whole ethos of blockchain, right? Like cut the middleman, fuck them. Like let's do peer-to-peer. So I totally vibe with Audius, their ethos, and like I guess my main gripe with them was like their founders. It's like a bunch of like smart Stanford coders, which I'd rather have them like have some experience in the music industry, but they do have like really good advisors, like artists. So maybe that can offset that.
Right. I like that they have guys like Rack and RAC. I hope it's short term.
I think it was Skrillex too.
Yeah, Skrillex. They have a bunch of EDM guys kind of, but they're also starting to get other artists. But I think the EDM guys, with their music being more electronic and they're kind of more using computer software to make music, are obviously going to be the first ones to get into the space. But I really like Audius. It's done really well. It's real growth. You can see,
like a million like users, right, in like 1 month. Or like it went from like 3 to 4 million, I think.
Yeah, so there's huge growth there. So the token's seen appreciation where the rest of the market was kind of pulling back last week and Audius was going up.
Yeah, I'm just worried about like, because I think Spotify has like 150 million users.
Yeah.
So I like how can this tiny like blockchain project take over Spotify? But I guess it's like investing in like an early stage like startup.
Yeah, they're going after the artist first.
Everything. Yeah, and
right. Going after the artist first. If you can get the artist over, then the consumer will follow. So that's kind of the whole idea behind Audius.
What do you do with your token, the Audius token?
I just hold it in my wallet.
Okay.
I don't do anything with it.
I wish there was a way to stake it. I think you can stake it, but you need like 100,000 Audius tokens or something. So like,
I don't know how many I have. I have to check.
So Spencer confirmed, not a whale.
Not a whale. Not 400K of Audius confirmed.
All right. So Spencer, I think you mentioned Audius to me like at $1 or something like that, and I like downloaded the app. It was like it was okay. Like I couldn't really see myself using it, so I kind of just put it off this side. But now it's like pushing $4. So
yeah, I agree too.
I listened to Spencer.
Some part of my due diligence was downloading the app, and I thought I love Spotify, and I thought this app is no good. So I just followed the project for a couple of months, and then I was like, oh man, the users are really upticking here. So might as well buy a little bit.
So yeah, I'm fairly bullish. Audius. I hope it didn't.
Did you get in?
Yeah. No, I did not. I wish I could have, but like obviously.
Next one. On to the next.
Yeah, on to the next. So the next one I'm interested in is DSLA. It's like statistical. Like I don't know how to think.
Yeah, DSLA is really cool and actually performed really well too recently, and it kind of makes me laugh because DSLA essentially provides insurance for smart contracts, for leverage trading. There's a bunch of different utilizations for it, but the primary thing being it provides insurance, and it provides like a liquidity pool of insurance. So if a smart contract is executed, if certain conditions are broken for whatever protocol that they're working with, essentially you can dip into the liquidity pool and get back your insurance claim. So it's really cool. Exactly, infrastructure risk. I really like the project, and I think it was going up a lot because people were trading on leverage, and as conditions were being met and smart contracts are being executed and people are being liquidated, insurance claims are essentially happening, and DSLA is being utilized. And so you saw it appreciating last week during a downturn, which makes sense, right? If a lot of people are being liquidated and they provide insurance for some of these exchanges.
Yeah, it's interesting how it's sort of acting like a hedge, you know? It's like it's good to hold a project that can do well like in a downturn.
Right. I think that also onboarding corporations and people onto blockchain, a huge portion of it's going to be them getting comfortable if something goes wrong. And it's as simple as that. If something goes wrong and something breaks our agreement, you have insurance for it and you'll be compensated.
Yeah, and it seems like they have a lot of partners.
They have great partners. Yeah, they're working with a lot of great protocols. But that one has done very well recently, and I'm happy with it. I'm actually very bullish the project. I wish I bought more.
I feel like that's the case for like majority of the coins we own.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's interesting. I feel like insurance is like a sector is something I'm not too familiar with. So I feel like it's hard for me to put a valuation, like a price target per se, right? I feel like I'll have a weekend. So I think for me personally, I think I'd rather own AUDIUS just because like, I want to hold projects that I can like hold with my bare hands. So
something that people don't know, I would say 90% of people don't know, is that insurance companies run the world, and insurance companies have all of the money. And insurance companies they have like unbelievable risk reward. That's why Warren Buffett owns insurance companies. All these, you froze a little bit, so I hope it didn't. It's probably my connection.
you're good.
Insurance companies take all of these premiums that they collect and they invest them. So they're like essentially a giant,
Hedge
investment fund.
Yeah, I see.
So
I remember Mass Mutual put like 100 mil in Bitcoin.
Right.
Sure.
But you have no idea. You pay out these insurance, premiums all the time, and those guys are taking that money and investing it. It's like so I think insurance is as a sector is huge, and if we can get it into blockchain, I think the DSLA will do really well. But
yeah, cool.
What's next on the list?
MATIC layer 2. Show me your thesis on MATIC.
Yeah, scalability solutions for Ethereum. Ethereum, there's obviously ZK rollups, all of these different solutions for Ethereum, trying to fix the scalability issue and high gas fees. And what MATIC does is it just puts all of the solutions into one clean cut package so that you don't have to switch between different protocols for different scalability solutions. It's not like you have to pick one and you get pegged into a box. You can at will choose to use different protocols, different scalability solutions. So it's more so just like encompasses all of the solutions and give you a free choice. So it's my play on fixing Ethereum, but why pick one fix when you can pick them all?
Yeah, I like MATIC, especially because optimistic rollups got delayed by like 3-4 months, which kind of pissed me off because the team in February said they're gonna launch mainnet in March, and then like 2 days ago they said, "Sorry guys, we're gonna release in July." Like, come on, like how professional is that? Like that really like disappointed me because I was expecting like layer 2 trading in like around April. It's coming in May with uni, but which is still like pretty fast, but that was pretty disappointing. So yeah, MATIC does make sense. Like it's like an all-in-one solution for like scaling Ethereum. I think for other blockchains too. And it's definitely on my shopping list. It like has like a 30% drawdown recently. I think it's a pretty good buying opportunity.
Yeah.
And I can stake it on Bancor.
Yeah.
So I'm probably gonna do that if
I added.
Yeah,
I added some
too?
on this last pullback. Yeah, I added some. I've heard, which is weird because I don't have any personal, ties to many developers in blockchain. You read about them, you learn about them, but I have one friend who is like, he doesn't like the developer for Polygon. So
I know it's like I know it's like 3 Indian dudes.
Is it? I thought it was like a redhead guy. Maybe I'm wrong. So yeah, I thought it was like a redhead guy. Anyway, I saw his Twitter.
The founders are like Indian guys.
Okay. One of them, someone I know knows him personally and was like, "Oh man, can't believe he's the developer. I can't get in because of it." Okay. All right.
Never let a personal vendetta affect financial judgments, financial investments.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm bullish MATIC. Like you used to show MATIC to me. I was like, maybe, but like now that optimism is like delayed, I have like no faith in like that team. So like, fuck it. I think MATIC makes sense. Okay. The next name, I'm gonna ask about ANKR, ANKR. They just got listed on Coinbase. They're same alumni, so just buy a bag to support the Bears. But like, show me ANKR.
Yeah, I wish we had better. Like I wish I took more advantage of Berkeley's blockchain when we were there, like the community, and so I wish we could keep tabs on it more. So hopefully we should try to do that. But I think this space has a really, I think I told you this, there's a lot of smart, dumb trades right now.
Mm-hmm.
And like, look at Decentraland. Like Decentraland, like, anyway. You could have
the gaming sector, like the entire space is like rallied insane.
Yeah.
Multiples. Now it's pulling back, but
if you followed Barry Silbert like closely too, you could have guessed that he was investing, 250 million, and he basically described he said the market cap's 250 million. He basically told you what he was going to invest in, and he put a bunch of money into Mana. So in my opinion, ANKR came across my desk and I was like, this is a really smart, it's not necessarily dumb though, trade. And it's really smart because most people, when they try to get into crypto, they follow developers, they throw money at smart people. And these guys went and basically created AWS at Amazon, cloud storage, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like the AWS, like the marketplace for Amazon. And so obviously if they break off and they're going to form their own blockchain, they're going to be successful. They're going to do really well. And what they're doing is optimizing idle computer power. So they're using it for cloud storage, general computing power. And to me, I'm like, oh my gosh, it makes total sense. I mean, it makes total sense. And I think sometimes the simplest trades are the best. And so I don't think it's a smart, dumb trade, but I think it's a get in the way of an influx of capital. And if I believe in this project and I know there's going to be a large influx of capital, you don't have to look much further into the fundamentals. If it's a make sense product and there's going to be a huge influx of capital because these are some of the best developers from Google, Amazon. I think they sold the company to Apple. Get in the way of capital. That's all investment banking is. That's all they set out to do is they try to find like where the next large influx of capital is coming from. That's why they're getting into blockchain. And so that's what I saw with ANKR. I was like, this makes total sense. Idle computers are everywhere in the network. Why not take advantage of their hardware? So that's ANKR.
Is the idle computer, like the computing power, is it used for like data storage and like
yeah.
What is it specifically used for? Just
primarily data storage. Yeah.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. I know the Data token. It's like a top 10 token now.
Data.
Yeah, like they use like idle computing power to like make streaming more efficient, and like it's gone up on this insane run, which I never would have expected. Like
same with LPT, Data. Right? So I got it on LivePeer token. It does very similar thing, but Basically, it's able to take advantage of your graphics processing unit of your video processor.
Yeah, that is a smart dumb trade. No, not dumb trade, but like a logical trade. Yeah, more like a
Yeah.
logical trade. It's just like, yeah, like, it's gonna work.
Yeah.
So
Right. And it cuts streaming expenses by 40%, broadband expenses rather.
is that
So
LifePeer token or the Anchor?
live per token.
Okay.
So current streaming services, you have to use broadband, and broadband's a large issue right now. It's public. Most broadband's public and very expensive. And so with everybody moving toward online education, Netflix, streaming services, there's a huge demand for it, and security is a big issue of it. So it just makes sense. It's a distributed network with great security on blockchain. And then it cuts broadband expenses by roughly 40%. So
Yeah, I really like how you constructed your portfolio because I can kind of see like you hit different sectors in a way. Right? I mean, everything's blockchain obviously, but you hit like audio, like AUDIUS is like music. There's like this data storage blockchain play. There's like the insurance, and then we have your typical like layer 2 and like Bitcoin, ETH, etc. I think that's a really good portfolio because I feel like all my coins, like they do. I mean, all my coins have done really well, but they're like all correlated. Like
yeah, that's what I was
I
going to
feel like
ask
the
you.
correlation is like 0.9. So
Yeah,
I feel like it's good to take some of my DeFi coins and diversify into like
uncorrelated
maybe
assets.
AUDIUS or ANKR. Yeah,
Yeah,
uncorrelated. Yeah,
yeah. I think
improve
you're.
my Sharp ratio.
Thanks, by the way. That was very nice. But also, I think um, I would dissect that in two ways. One, if Bitcoin blows up, they all blow up. That's like the end all do all. But two, yeah, probably more uncorrelated assets would be good because I think it just helps you hold.
Yeah,
And
it does. It would.
so when my portfolio is down and I'm getting hammered, we're all getting hammered last week by the market pulling back, and I see bright spots in my portfolio, I'm like, oh, okay. Well, I'll hold because this one's up, 100%
Yeah.
today. Yeah, so thanks. But yeah, buy my bags.
Yeah, it's the reason I hold Chainlink because Chainlink actually outperformed Bitcoin during the bear market.
Wow,
Like,
I didn't know that.
yeah, so like, and like they haven't been around. Like Chainlink has never existed in like a bull market. So I'm like, if Chainlink can outperform Bitcoin in a bull market, then what is it going to do in a bear market? Then what is it going to do in a bull market? So
Yeah.
far, it hasn't done jack shit. But I'm still holding out hope, and like I'm earning yield on it. So I'm just like holding, just waiting.
Yeah.
So
Oracles are cool.
improving your
Oracles are really
risk-adjusted
cool.
returns, really cool.
Yeah.
It's something I should definitely do.
You want to talk about
Yeah,
NFTs?
yeah. I think we talked enough about
Let's do
pumping
it.
Spencer's bags.
Thanks for pumping my
So
bags.
let's talk something more. I guess more like something that's more mainstream, like NFTs. Did you see the Sunday Night Live skit on NFTs?
I did.
Yeah, like I mean, I'm not gonna say it's top, but like, damn, it's like everyone's talking about NFTs.
Yeah,
So
it's frothy.
yeah, let's just talk about like the frothiness real quick. I think NFTs are here to stay. I mean, for art, for music, for a bunch of use cases, NFTs make a lot of sense, especially for like the music industry. I do believe that like 90% of the projects, like NFT projects right now, will go to zero because like the people are just like releasing like new NFT like artwork and stuff that's like selling for like 10 ETH. I feel like there's not going to be enough buyers at some point, but I can't see something that's like this hyped up like going away. It's like Bitcoin, right? It was hyped up in 2017, it crashed, and then it's back, and like everyone's saying Bitcoin is the future. I feel like something similar is going to happen where NFTs will like somehow like blow off top, crash, and then maybe a year from now, like more use cases come out, like better technology comes, and like that's like the second boom. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I had this conversation at lunch too the other day. I think it's easy for the public to get caught up in the froth that you're talking about and see, the price tag on some of these art pieces being 68, 69 million for people. But I think what you miss in all of the noise is that it's real innovative tech. And it's exactly what AUDIUS is doing, providing essentially a non-fungible token where artists can collect royalties on it.
Mhm.
And so with NFTs, and every time it resells and you can collect royalties on it, and creating a a unique piece of data, I think that I agree that it's bubbly, and that I think values are going to fluctuate very going to be very volatile here, but I think the tech's here to stay. The innovation's here to stay, and some of the projects will last. But yeah, it will probably get ugly for a couple of projects, and once one of them goes bust, a lot of other ones will see big drawdowns. But I'm super bullish on the tech, on tokenization,
Yeah.
and
Okay.
but right now everybody focuses on the extremities,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Or
As
on the
with like the meme
extremes.
market, it's like
Yeah.
people are calling a bubble in equities because of GameStop, but the actual
Right.
market is like relatively reasonable, like relatively
Right.
logical. Yeah,
Blockchain's healthy. Yeah.
yeah. I
But
want to touch on like the like Audius and the NFTs. Like we briefly talked about, like it makes no sense that artists make no money. I think Daft Punk, right, get and like their hit single "Get Lucky." I think they only made a few $1,000s from like the song itself, which I think is like
it's crazy.
ridiculous. I think that's ridiculous and totally makes sense. Like artists should be able to tokenize their songs, and maybe it's their Audius, maybe Spotify launches something or like buys Audius. Like I feel like give more power to the artists and not to the record labels. And also like another use case that Mark Cuban talked about is like tokenizing like tickets, like seats. Because right now, like the secondary market for tickets is like crazy, right? Like Ticketmaster, you have to pay like $30 in fees, like all these like random processing fees they have to pay for. But if you tokenize like the ticket like seats for each game, then like the Dallas Mavericks can receive a cut every time it switches hands.
It makes total sense. It's
Yeah, like
insane.
stuff like that. It just makes
I'm
total
so
sense.
bullish on the space. I'm so bullish on the tech. It's insane. Like just in today, I was bullish on it, but today, when I really started to think about it, and exactly Mark Cuban's like, I mean, hats off to Mark Cuban. He actually, he's a smart
He gets
guy,
it.
and
Smart
yeah,
guy.
he gets it. It's hard for a lot of those guys to come into the space and get it. So hats off to him. But I also think like baseball cards and like collectibles, like it's gonna change the space, right? And there's a huge craze over like MLB baseball cards. So I actually bought an equity. We don't talk about equities here. I bought I bought a company that's utilizing like NFTs, baseball cards, and essentially trying to get in on the craze. But yeah, like you said, that would be huge if you could make it transparent and you could use on-chain analysis to show, the transfer of tickets and collect royalties on it. It eliminates and it makes everything more opaque, and you can see through, and it's transparent. Yeah, and you can see directly through, and it eliminates a bunch of BS. So I'm excited.
Yeah,
It's coming.
I'm very bullish on the tech as well. I'm just like trying to think about like which project can I invest in to get a piece of NFTs. I feel like there's not much right now. Maybe Audius, but outside of Audius, I haven't really seen like the tech side of NFTs. I feel like there's a lot of like NFT art, and, like crypto punks and like niche like art and like all stuff like that. But
Yeah, I could tell
maybe
you, I think you would want to look for a company that's going to be a service provider, a company that's going to be provide tokenization, right? Somebody who can come in and say, I'll provide tokenization for your business.
uh-huh.
Someone that's going to meet with Mark Cuban and say, hey, Mark, I can make you your own Dallas Mavericks crypto. And,
Yeah.
and I'm going to resell, when you resell tickets, you'll collect a royalty. So someone
He's
who's going to
like
build up all the infrastructure.
I'll sign the papers.
Yeah. Right? So someone who's going to be able to step into a business, tokenize it, and say, here you go.
Do you know any player that does that right now, or are you like more thinking like in the future?
Yeah, I'm trying to research that right now. So
I couldn't
there's a
find any.
little there's a little forecast into what I'm trying to do. But even like Parsec, like offering like a SaaS type of model where it's like, hey, we'll come in and we'll provide a product for you and you pay for it as long as you use it. We'll come in, we'll give you your own token as long as you use it. You know, you'll collect a royalty, but we want to cut on every little time the token's, you know, transferred or whatever. Or providing the service for an annual fee. We want 2% annually, something like that. So I'm trying to find someone who's in the space. I know Harmony is just getting into NFTs. I was following up on the project, but I'm trying to find someone who's obviously not trading under.
If there's like some infrastructure play on like what you just talked about, I feel like I'm gonna just buy that token. I feel
it's hard for me to buy the NFTs.
Smart dumb trade, right?
Yeah, it's too hard for me to buy NFTs because it's like there's so many NFTs that you can go out and buy, and I just don't dig into the space enough.
Yeah,
because I think it's frothy.
I actually bought some NFTs just because this project was gonna like do an airdrop.
What'd you buy?
I'll share my screen. They're called Ava stars. Essentially, like I'll share the screen. One sec.
I thought the NBA Top Shot stuff was crazy. And I had a buddy who has no idea what blockchain is, and he bought like 4 of those like Kobe Bryant murals.
Yeah. Do you see this?
Yeah.
Okay. So essentially, like these are.
Did you get airdrop this one?
No. Okay, so I bought this with like ETH, some ETH. I think I spent too much on them, but I bought some because they said the team said they're going to airdrop like their tokens. So I'm like, okay, if I'm going to have NFT exposure, I'll just like punt money into this and see what happens. So the idea is like each character has like certain features, right? Like this guy has like this kind of lips, this hair, this background, and like this cheek. And basically like at the end of this, you can kind of essentially like put together certain features to make your own character, right?
Whoa, okay.
So if I wanted to, I can like take this guy's hat, put it on this purple background guy, and take this guy's mouth and put it on him, and like, you know, customize my character. Yeah, like, I think it's ridiculous. I feel like something like this already exists, but I just like said, you know what? If there's like a 0.1% chance this blows up, then at least I own some, and I'm gonna get an airdrop at some point, so maybe that can offset my.
Kids love this stuff.
Yeah,
like the gaming community, they love this stuff. Yeah,
so you bought some of that. I think I spent too much money on it, but you know, some exposure. And also, I actually saw this today. I want to share this with you. I think it's so funny. It's kind of like a meme, but I think it has real potential. Okay, so here it is.
You bought a meme?
No. It's not an actual meme, but it's NFT.
This is the first NFT market. Oh my gosh.
It's NFT for porn, dude.
Oh my gosh.
Can't you see the potential in that? Yes, it's a meme. Yes,
we're cutting this one here. No more. No more on the podcast. We're not talking about that. Cut it. Close it.
Okay. I'm a close.
All right, we're being professional here. There we go.
Okay. I tried.
Yeah.
I tried to bring some fun to the conversation, but nudity is just not enough. Not good enough for.
It's not in the Web 3.0 podcast. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think
I see it. The monetization with OnlyFans and everything, it's scary.
Yeah, and like people can, because with the with the videos online, like the original creator gets 0%, right? But
get out of here. I know where you're going. We're good.
It's like the same with it's the same with artists, right? Same concept.
I'd like to shift topics. I think we're in the 4th inning. My closing thoughts. We're in the 4th inning. I think that we're in for a huge rally, and I think that Ethereum is finally going to break out and just absolutely rip higher. And transaction fees coming down. That's where we are. I think
15.59.
Yeah, I think we're in the 4th inning, and like I said, this thing is about maybe we're a little more, almost halfway. Here we go. Hold on, strap in.
Yeah, I'm definitely strapped in. I sold some stocks Friday just so I can buy more crypto. It only makes sense. and Spencer's portfolio has been doing better than mine, so I feel like I have to, you know, there's some fire under my ass.
Yeah, there is. Let's go, baby. Here we go.
But
All
yeah,
right, man.
anything else you want to talk about, or should we wrap it up?
It was a good podcast.
Yeah, pretty good podcast. Talked about many genres, some more professional than others. But yeah, as always, Spencer and I are just insanely bullish on the space. Very bullish on NFTs, and I think I'm gonna buy some of his bags. Kind of sucks that I'm like pumping his bags, but I think I have to do it.
We'll pump your bags next time.
Yeah, maybe next episode, like first week of April.
Rook will be at
close up
1,000.
Parsec 20. Chainlink 100. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thank you guys for watching.